So, hello and welcome to the third status update of me building the automation game world in the game Transport Fever 2. It's now 1865 and we started in Archana today because, as mentioned towards the end of the last episode, there were two more cities not getting their food. Now they do, Yatas and Kula. And that route goes from that food processing plant via ship to the Vajdu port, and then with horse carriages over this mountain pass for the tunnel, then to the Stiza port. I think we just see the exchange. No, that's something else, but yeah, there is one ship leaving with bread. And that is then first going to Kula and also going to Yatas. So now all cities, except Berezovka, I'm just seeing that, have food, so that's something I need to do. Probably have overlooked this city. Yeah, so I think that we'll have to go via horse carriage, because these rivers can be navigated only until here, and the rest is painted on water texture. So I have to follow this path. Probably drop it off in Mentash now, since this port is new, so I can then use that to drop off some bread as well for Berezovka. Do I have spare production capacity? No, so that's probably just taking away food from somewhere else. But anyway, so that's one thing. The second thing, trains. The first attempts of this brand new technology in the mid-1860s, and only a short line. So in Archana we have this line from Kronograd with a small improvised train stop down to Mara. Just a small train with one carriage and not that many passengers, but these are very fresh. So I think we should have still some passengers waiting to be picked up by the horse carriage to go to Kronograd. Yeah, 6 still waiting, so these will then travel in the future by train. This always takes a year or two to adjust, and also we will see, and I have to start this coach manually, we start to see then more people going from Kronograd to Mara, because now they are connected by, well, 36 or 37 kilometers per hour up to 50 or 40, these first trains, so this seems to be almost top speed, whereas horse carriages can only do 18, and the amount of people who are willing to travel depend on speed of the vehicle. So this will then shift things and make Mara more attractive than going to all the other cities. The other countries, or most of the other countries, still have their first train as well, so the Lua doesn't. But Fruinia has the first train line going from Terso to Porto Castelfranco. So here we have 2 people waiting and 4 on board. So the train in Archana was a Russian locomotive. This is the Borsig locomotive and the German-style passenger train, so from the EU car set. And now we have 2 people going back from Porto Castelfranco to Terso. And I probably have to start this manually again to get all the people from this stop here. No, that's actually gone. So this we can sell this one actually, because this won't be ever used anymore, the Terso to Porto Castelfranco horse carriage, because this is slower than the train. And again, just an improvised station here at the bottom of Terso. So here the geography plays a bit of a role, so that the train station is on a lower level than most of the city. Hetvesia also, they have their first train going from Berlau to Meereshofen. Also here we have the first 2 people waiting. but also there are still 6 wanting to go via horse carriage, so I don't have to start this manually, they're still on the way. And one is still waiting actually. Because these passengers don't switch when a new line becomes available. They still want to use the vehicle that they chose once they started. This is a train, this is the starter train for the EU car set. And this is actually a Swiss train, because the studio that develops Transport Fever 2 is Swiss, and this shows then in these details. And so I chose this one for Hetvesia, because Hetvesia is sort of modeled on Switzerland. Switzerland with a coast. And Gasmea, of course, they also have the first train line from Grafton to Lawston on Clarus. Not starting in the capital, because they would always have to cross bridges. So from Harford to Springvale would be one bridge, and from Harford to Grafton would be one bridge, and all other cities are behind mountain ridges, so Midbury, Aylesbury, Eastport. This is the easiest one to build, and they also have some they have a few more passengers, so this is a bit more busy. Also then Lawston on Clarus starts to become a sort of network hub. And I probably also have to start some coaches again, one to Lawston with one passenger. How many are waiting? 2. Yeah, so that's the last one, and I can delete this one because the train again will always be faster. And this train is the US starter train. So Baldwin, a 3-wheel locomotive, a 3-axle locomotive, 6-wheeler with one larger passenger carriage, and they're all still operating at a loss because trains need some more cargo or passengers to be profitable. So I don't expect any of these to be profitable. I hope they will ever be. Because these cities are all tiny. There are plenty of them, but they are tiny and they don't grow that fast. Because I throttled the growth so that they don't sprawl too much on this confined map. And in the worst case, there will never be enough passengers to have the trains profitable, and so they have to be propped up by the state, so to speak, so by profits in other regions. What we're also seeing here is the ship from Vianta, and also this is not really profitable. 13 passengers have been slowly rising, and now since the connection to Lawston to Grafton is a bit more attractive, we might see more people going from Porto Minter to Grafton maybe. Is this already reflected? 4 and 6, probably not, but this might take years until they have returned from their previous location via horse carriage and then decide they want to now go to Grafton with this new, faster connection. So we have trains, we have this connection via ship, and we have another connection via ship, and that is to Alnemra, with a ship that has also a very low number of passengers. And yeah, so this docks here is in the catchment area from this bus stop in El Rilma, and then let's check where they are going. Probably just to El Rilma and Basara. Alnemra, Basara. Yeah, and not even to El Rilma itself. That's interesting. Because this is in the catchment area of these as well. But yeah, then that's how it is. So these were one round of changes. So then we have one new good that's being supplied, and we can ignore these vehicle condition. I'm too cheap to pay for maintenance, and the only thing that's affected is the emission stat, and it lowers population, so there is no deterioration in performance if vehicles are in terrible shape. What I want to say is we have a new good that's mostly connected, and that's stone and a construction material, so this brick. So in Archana we have the line here from Curlin, the quarry, to the Leningrad construction plant, and then to Leningrad, the city itself, which needs construction materials over the mountain ridge to Volkhov. Back to Kurlin, which needs bricks, and up to Tuzgala, which also need bricks. We just started a second one from Nakulik, going all the way around to Sliza, then again over this mountain pass to this port, from this port to Novobeskov, and then via horse carriage, and that hasn't happened yet, to the Shmesky construction plant, and then from Shmesky going to Sarki, going to Glensk, going to Ruvatka, and then once this is running, I'll switch Volkov also to this one, because this line here is way older. So I figured it's not too difficult to connect Volkov over the ridge, but of course when this is running here, then this is easier. So then I think all cities, once the Nakulik line is running, and oh yeah, and they transport the bricks from here also back to the Nobeskov port, to the Vashduk port, the same carriages which carried the stone over the ridge take the bricks back, and then the ship that goes back to Nakulik takes them to Kula, to Mantash, and to Nakulik itself. And so Nakulik then will also, at some point in the a bit distant future, will get supplied with bricks. Same in Fruinia. So there we have 2 lines, or 1.5 lines. So one carrying stone from the Lago Jamiga quarry down to the Raikanta port, and then this is taken, and the ship is just arriving to the Fanella port. So up here, and taken then from here from Raikanta to Kalidis. And that's the only supplied instance at this point. Then we have a second line going from the Viestella quarry to the Ungenstadt construction materials plant in Hetvesia. Or rather, first to the Friedheim am Meer port, then via horse carriage to Ungenstadt, because this tiny river isn't navigable for ships. And I don't want to widen it because I'm running out of space. This is not too bad. And then these bricks are taken to Marina, to Salvis. Is this actually supplied? Yes. Yeah, from here. So from the Wi-Fi horse carriages to Salvis, and then back to Viestella. And that's the second line to supply Eastern Fruinia and all of Hetvesia with bricks. Also one line here from Ungenstadt to Meereshofen. Some more action in Gasmea as well. 2 lines again. One taking the stone from Valguiné down to Vinaux-le-Bain. So you can't see it because it's grey, because it's just stone. Then we have one ship line from Vinaux-le-Bain to the Enswater Farm port, which is also another port for the La construction materials plant. Stones go back and are then supplied from the Vinaux-le-Bain port, which is a bit overloading, so I have to add a few carriages to Chapelle and also to Felsbach. And a second one, that's a bigger one, currently limited by the throughput here from the Schalden quarry, where the stone is transported down to the Landvik port, up the river to the CB construction materials plant, from here to back to Durbridge, to Ellisbury, and then loaded onto 3 different ship lines from here. One takes the stuff east to Kronhaven, and from Kronhaven to Hammersbach. One takes it to Hollymore, and then from Hollymore to Hollymore and Midbury. So that's these red ship lines. One this way, one that way, and one all the way to Barren Hill and Casmouth. So these also now get bricks, and in case of Barren Hill we have supply of both goods, so bread and bricks. Speaking of bread in Gasmea, so these lines here finally have also started working in for Menwin and Penya, so that bread is shipped all the way around from the Bad Neusund plant up to Highport, and then from Highport down here, and then split between Menwin and Penya, and this is now also working rather well. The only cities who don't have bricks yet are Penya, Lawson on Claris, Porta Minta and Archana. And they're a bit tricky to supply, so the construction plant is here, so that's fine. But the stone, the last remaining quarry, is or would be either this one, and I think both. So this still has 300 capacity, so it would probably be the one here, or one even further at Montelaris. This one isn't still used, and to carry that across half of the map is something where I will need trains, and so probably a cargo train with stone to Harford, and then take it down here around the coast to the plant, and then back to Penya, Lost on Claris, with a stop for Porta Minta and Archana, and then back to Harford to get more stone. So that's then the plan for the next 5 years, to get to finish bricks, to start on tools. So that's the tools need lumber from a sawmill, and lumber need logs from a forest. So that's the last simple supply chain, where you only have one good turned into a second good into a third good. For the other supply chains, you have then two goods that are needed at some point. So here machines are wood and steel, or goods are plastic and steel. So those will be then coming after. So I'm going first for the low-hanging fruit. And also, or steel is ore and coal, so that's also then a bit more involved. So here we have a steel mill in Winley taking ore and coal. And of course, having more passenger trains, that they are actually useful and not just the novelties that we have currently, where hardly people ride, because it's not exciting to go from A to B. It's more exciting to go from A to F, but that means there need to be more connections, so longer train lines going across cities, and there will probably have to bulldoze a fair amount of the buildings close to the area where the train will pass through, or where the stations will be. So good example probably going to be here in Fruinia, where, hang on, Terso, so where this makeshift a train station will then have to become larger, so to that the tracks will pass through here, that these have to go, and then we need at least 2 tracks so that the trains can go back and forth, and then 2 more tracks for the platforms, and this will then mean that all these buildings and probably the roads as well have to go, so that will be extra expensive. But then only then will passenger travel be worth it, and then a lot of the horse carriages will go, so only horse carriages to cities where it's not feasible to have trains, so stuff in the mountains like Maranhão will then remain, and many other cities, at least at this point, will then be connected by trains. This will probably not be something for 5 years, that's more something for 10. And so let's see how far things will be in 1870, which will be the next update with tools mostly connected. Those should be rather easy with the final brick line halfway across Archana, and then from the middle of Archana back to all cities that need bricks, and then some more train connections. So as a bonus, let's ride through. We're just leaving Porto Castelfranco, so let's jump aboard. So as a bonus, let's ride through Fruinia from Porto Castelfranco to Terso. With all of 35, maybe 40 kilometers. Oh, 45. Well, this is the second generation locomotive, the Borsig. And we can see how much faster we are compared to the horse carriages. The track on the right is the track to the depot, so that is only needed to spawn a train. And since this was only a first trial, whether this new technology does actually work, the line ends here unceremoniously at this station. Passengers now leave, and the new passengers get aboard, and this is barely half full. Okay, so then I think that was all. That was the update, what happened in the last 5 years. So stay tuned for the next update, which will be 1870. See you then.